brief what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to start off with some basic movement techniques. So we're going to do some formations, just so everyone's aware of the formations we use, why we use them, when to use them. We're then going to move on to obstacle crossings. So there's three main obstacles we'll encounter. So first one is a fence or a wall, second one is a road, and the third one is a bridge. We're going to learn how to safely and effectively cross all of them. Then we're going to move on to what's known as bounding or tactical movement, which essentially is a method of moving towards an objective without exposing yourself to enemy fire. We'll get to more detail then. We're also going to touch on flanking a little bit. Once we've done that, that will complete the movement section. We're then going to practice our battle drills. So there's a couple of battle drills we're going to focus on today. The first one is fire control orders. So they're essentially a command from your fire team leader or squad leader in regarding firing on enemy position. Then we're going to move on to the reaction to effective enemy fire. And finally, we're going to move on to squad attack. All of these are broken down into a number of steps. Obviously, they'll be explained throughout the training, and the training will culminate with a live squad attack against an enemy outpost. Anyone got any questions about what we're going to be doing today?
Sorry, wasn't paying attention. Can you repeat that?
I'm going to slap you with my...
No, I think we all got it.
Alright, no one got any questions? Mount up, I'm driving. Don't even think about it.
Follow the instructor, he's the leader for today. The rank doesn't matter in this. Let's mount up, lads.
Okay, thinks he's special, riding shotgun. He's going to have a fight with Burns for the shotgun sheet. Oh, who made it? Who made it?
I think we both can fit in.
Okay, Keith is in the hatch, and Woo is in shotgun. Right, let's roll.
Right.
A little bit of a drive to get there, but we'll be fine. It's only about 3.5 clicks.
Riding in front.
Wait, who the hell was that guy? Random Grenadier Commander. Okay.
It's gonna be mission Grenadier Commander. Are we there yet?
You're never going to get there if you ask that question again.
Right, come check 112.
Also, is everybody on 110?
No.
We'll be in a moment.
Radio check once you're on.
Come check 110.
Good check.
So how long is the drive? Time to take a disc?
It's 3.5 clicks, so yeah, you got time to go take a look.
Yeah, you got it.
Radio check 110. Good check, Vance. Cheers, man.
110.
All good. All good.
This thing actually fucking hauls ass, Jesus Christ.
It does, yeah. They don't play. I like these, We're getting these to the logistics department. We're getting these, but they open back for cargo hauling.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, they carry 3 of the cube containers at once.
Sweet. I did not know there were civilians driving around on this.
Yeah, it's a live area.
Oh, well, this Mummed thing's interested. Well, just as well as closer road. Where it's at.
We shouldn't find contact unless we cross the DMZ.
Well, one of our objectives is the checkpoint, so...
Aha! That should be interesting. Ah, okay, I see.
Basically, the law for the training, for those that care, we're retaking, once we've completed the training, the final objective, we'll be retaking one of the checkpoints that has fallen into OB4 hands. Using the skills you learned today.
Nice.
Right, this thing doesn't do too well uphill.
Yeah,
Come on.
You need momentum.
You can do it. You
Come on, Big Bertha.
20 kilometers an hour. Let's go.
Wonky Martha. There we go. We've named her.
Yeah, buddy.
Here's some EMSs. What do we got up front?
Someone's had a fender bender.
Nice.
Why is there one on the fucking roof?
You saw that?
Have you never seen it? Have you, right,
They're off-road on top of the roof. No, I've never noticed it before.
there's a mini garage not too far from where I live. Right, it's in Maidstone, Chris.
Yeah.
And literally there is a mini stuck sideways into a building.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Now I've seen this kind of thing before in like in real life, where they put them up on poles or shit like that. But this is the first time I've ever seen one in the game.
I'm back.
You have reached your destination.
Oh,
D-bus.
right in time.
Nice.
No less. Sorry.
Copy that. We're still in a green zone. We should be good. Just keep your
Yeah,
eyes wide.
you'll be safe here. Don't worry. Don't worry. So, this field here is where we're going to start on the formations. It's the flattest field around this area. But right, just for the purposes of training, you are all one squad. Burns is your squad lead.
Copy
You are
that.
all in the same squad, same team, whatever. Right. So just going to touch lightly on formations. Obviously, I'm not going to go into too much detail as it's something you've all done before. So there are a few main formations that we use. Well, there's 5 main ones. To be exact. So you obviously got the column. Variation on the column is a staggered column. And then you've got the line, which is just column horizontally. You've got an arrowhead, and you've got a wedge, which is essentially half an arrowhead. Those are the main 5 formations we use. There is a formation that those in 1-1 we will be using. Obviously, I can't speak for 1-2. If Burns wants to use it, fair enough. If he doesn't, fair enough. It's called a half attack. Now, it's not something I would have expected you to have heard of, but it's something I will be showing you today. And I will be explaining all of these, why they're useful, when to use them, why we use them, the differences. So, because I trust that you will know your formations, please form up into a column
Form on me.
in this grass area.
We'll form a line. In the grass area. Yeah.
Yeah.
Direction. Give us a direction.
Facing southeast, facing the
Facing
big
southeast.
old mountain.
Copy that.
Fall up on me, lads.
Right. Can someone other than Burns please tell me what your spacing should be in formation during daylight? In meters. If anybody
Okay,
knows,
where you going?
just call out.
Minimum 5 meter.
That's not quite correct, Ray. Wait, even. Anybody else? No? Okay, so when,
15.
Would just be guessing.
say 15, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Closer. So, when you're moving in daylight, spacing should be 20 meters. Right now, it's probably about 20 meters between the front man and the rear man. So in total, 5 of you moving during daylight, the column should be 100 meters front to back. It sounds excessive, I know, but right now, if I was to throw a grenade at Biderman's feet, the only person that will survive is Wu. Every single other one of you is dead. Well, Burns
I
might
might
survive.
Yeah.
Burns might survive, but he won't be in good shape. We'll
Yeah.
be okay. So, let's try this again. So, still in the column, but I want you to try and get spacing of 20 meters. Obviously, I know it's hard to work out 20 meters, but
Okay, we're gonna have to get a radio. Follow.
yes, you will.
Third man, come forward.
Halt there, Burns.
Copy, copy.
Alright, I'm happy with that. O'Keefe could be a little bit further back, but the rest of you, spacing Binneman and Chris, perfect. Chris and Wu, perfect. But yeah, the second man is too close to the first man and too far away from the third man. So, say your name before you speak. Could someone tell me when we might use a column formation?
Everyone but me?
If you wanna answer, you can. Although it might be a little bit unfair.
Alright, come on guys, give it a try. You know this stuff.
Even if it's wrong, just give it a go. When might we use a column?
O'Keefe, when passing through difficult terrain.
Good. That's one example. Difficult terrain. So maybe treacherous mountains, dense woodland. Another example, the main use for a column, I'd say. The main situation.
Benjamin, just moving from point A to B when there's no enemies nearby.
Yeah, I mean, can do. Just simple movement. So, give you 5 more seconds. Anyone for the main region. Okay, so the main reason you might move in a column is when you're moving through a minefield, right? Because if you're moving in any other formation, it means you are not stepping in line with the person in front of you. If the point man, in this case Burns, has a mine detector, and you trace his footsteps, which you do in a column, you know you will not step on a mine. If you're in any other formation, you cannot guarantee that. So, the main purpose of a column formation, other than what O'Keefe said, treacherous terrain, is when you're in a minefield to ensure everybody's safety. Anybody got any questions on that?
Well, in O'Keefe's defense, minefield would be treacherous terrain, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, it would, but... Alright, maybe I'm being a little bit nitpicky there.
Nah, I'm being fussy. Okay, guys, be interested.
But yeah, so this is obviously only 5 of you, but you can imagine an 8-man squad, which is obviously what we're going to be moving to. The front man there, the rear man is going to be 160 metres behind him. So just think about how much distance that's going to cover, right? But also at the same time, you've got to remember it's for your own safety, because right now if I throw a grenade at Binneman's feet, Binneman is going to be the only man to go down. The rest of you will be safe. I'm sorry for using you as a target, Binneman, but you're the one that's in the middle.
I would use strobe then.
Right, cool. Everybody happy. So, moving on, next one, something you're also probably all familiar with, is a staggered column. So I'm going to ask you to move back to the road for this one.
Copy that.
Let me just move that truck out of the way for you.
Guys, I just want to mention that we've all complained about people not moving correctly together. Now we have a professional instructor telling us how to do it, and you guys are showing fuck all interest.
What do you mean?
Please.
Local interest.
No, it just feels like there's no interest. I know there's a few of us, but Like, yeah.
How do you reckon?
Yeah, from experience, the fact they're sitting there listening, I'm going to assume they're taking it all in and appreciating the wisdom.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm probably being unfair. I apologize.
I accept.
It just
your
feels that, you know, it just feels that there's a...
Hey, what's this motherfucker doing? I did not set him up to stand there.
What?
rifleman.
That's one way to solve it.
I hope I'm not disturbing. I'm just gonna have a quick thing. Chris, whenever you guys are done with your training, I'm gonna need you as well, alright? Just back at base. After your training.
Okay.
That's it. Bye.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Right, so yeah, staggered column, boys. Let's get it going.
Copy that.
I want you facing south down the road.
Burns in front.
Copy that.
Formation space.
Was that a question to me or an instruction to them?
It was a question to you. I was just requesting our formation spacing.
Daytime spacing, 20 metres always.
Copy that, guys.
And when I say 20 metres, that means to the person in front and behind you. Obviously, do not go 20 metres each side of the road. You walk along the edge of the road. Obviously, the road is probably only about 10 metres wide. But because
Copy
you're
that.
all offset by a diagonal, you should be safe.
Well, standard roads are 7 meters wide, so it gives us an idea of how wide we need to be apart.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't know exactly how fucking fat a road is. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. Only thing I might suggest is, if you maybe take a few steps back, from what I can see, it looks like you're in line with Binneman. You should be sort of, well, staggered, so.
He's not, but still he should be a little bit more back here.
Yeah, that's fine. Right, so, say your name before answering. Could someone tell me why we might use a staggered column?
It gives us a multiple angle of view from all the guys, and we also keep an explosive safety distance.
Okay, and can someone tell me when you might use a staggered column other than Burns?
Urban environment.
Say again, Binneman?
Oh, I didn't say it, but
I thought I saw you on the radio.
yeah,
Whoever said that?
Someone else said
Whoever.
the same thing.
I say when we enter the urban environment, or we couldn't get to the minimum distance on the open field, or we're on the road.
Okay, yeah, so the main time we would ever use a staggered column is when moving down a road or a path or anything like that. But you are also correct in saying that when it is not possible to obtain the spacing required in other formations, such as a column, you would use a staggered column, because that zigzag pattern does actually give you more protection. Right, is everybody happy with a staggered column?
Affirmative.
Right, cool. So now, I would like you to all form up into a line. Again, I want you on the field facing that big old hill. I want to call it east-south-east.
Alright, lads. I'll stop the line here. Let's form up.
Where are you going, Chris?
Yeah, I was thinking we would just line up on the road, buddy.
Line up on the road just makes things a little bit easier. Can guarantee you straight that way.
Well, there's not perfectly well.
Nice, we're set.
Looking good, looking good. Right. So, now just so I want to see how people react. Imagine you're on an operation, your squad leader's just told you to form a line in preparation to move. I want you to all, for yourselves, decide which direction you should be facing based on your position in the line.
Oh, northeast.
Sorry, could you repeat that, please?
Northeast.
Cool.
So I see one problem right now. If someone approaches from the west, all 5 of you are getting gunned down and no one's even going to know about it. Because nobody is watching the rear.
Chris, you keep our rear.
Wu and O'Keefe, good job watching left and right respectively. Squad lead should always be facing the direction you are about to move. Right? Usually it would be the machine gunner. Yeah, it's fine. So usually it would be the machine gunner that is watching the rear. Obviously I appreciate none of you machine gunners.
Sorry.
No worries. Bit of ND, lovely jubbly. Right, so could someone tell me when you might use a line?
Benjamin, when you're going towards an enemy.
That is one situation when you might use a line yet when approaching an enemy position. Has anyone got any other ideas? I'm just going to give you a little hint. Think about what O'Keefe said for the column. The line is essentially the opposite of the column. So his reason for the column, what's the opposite of his reason? Just a reminder, he said when moving through treacherous terrain.
Come on, guys.
When moving through open terrain.
Spot on, mate. Simple as that. You might use a line when you're moving through open ground, such as this field in front of you, mainly because it gives you the maximum coverage. You're all moving at the same pace, so if you do come into contact, you can all quickly react without any issues. Whereas if you're moving through a field in a column and you come into contact, only the front man can really engage. You're going to have some problems trying to get everyone up to the front, especially as, like I said earlier, if the rear man is 160 metres at the back. And then what questions on the line? No, gleaming. Right.
Nice.
Last couple we're going to touch on now. So, on the grass field, I would like you to form up into an arrowhead, please.
Facing.
Same, again, east-south-east towards a big old hill.
Go Burns.
Do you want it to be a staggered arrowhead or?
Just a regular arrowhead. So based on where you are at the moment, yeah, you guys know what's up. Perfect. Far left and far right man stayed exactly where they were. Spot on. Everybody else pushed forward. Middleman pushed all the way forward. Beautiful.
Yeah, we literally push out like one of those toys, you know, with the pyramid toys that push out in the middle.
So, again, could someone tell me when and why we might use an arrowhead formation?
O'Keefe, when you're unaware where the enemy position might be, so you're covering all flanks and able to fold into any way.
Yeah, that's one reason. If it is easy to manoeuvre, very easy to manoeuvre indeed. Any one side of the arrowhead can easily flank off. Another reason, think about sort of personal defence. Imagine you're approaching sort of an MG position. Why might an arrowhead be quite useful? Or even if you're approaching maybe a sniper.
Because it looks hella cool.
Obviously we always want to look alley as fuck, but that is not necessarily a reason for why we would use an arrowhead formation. Right, so if you're approaching sort of an MG or a sniper position or something like that, if you're in an arrowhead formation, right, not only have you got the benefits of the line where you can all engage the target, but also the front man and the rear man are going to be about 100 metres apart. This means if the MG or sniper wants to accurately hit everybody, they have to adjust their aim. If you're in a line, they don't have to. All they've got to do is aim left, hold the trigger down and move right. But if some of you are closer, some of you are further away, they're going to have to do a lot more than hold the trigger and sweep from left to right. So it does actually make it a lot more difficult for an enemy position to take down the whole squad.
Makes it impossible for them to concentrate fire.
That too, yes. It does make it extremely difficult for any real level of suppression because of how sort of spread out, and you're all at different depths, depth of the field. And again, you can, because obviously you're focusing on usually a concentrated position, it means you can return fire a lot more easily than they can put fire down on you. Has anybody got questions on the when, the why, the how of the arrowhead?
I just want to say, I think you guys can start seeing what the difference is between bundling together for a CQB and open field. This is what we needed to practice.
This is sort of what I would expect to see of everyone when moving across sort of open terrain, or even if you're sort of in wooded terrain. Still keeping your spacing, making sure that you're not far enough. You need to be far enough away that one grenade ain't going to take down 4 blokes, but you also need to be close enough that you can see the man to your left and your right. Like for example, Chris and Binneman, the 2 central men, if they ever lost sighting of Wu or Burns, they're too far apart. Or O'Keefe in Chris's case.
And it's the job of the guys at the back to tell the guys at the front they're getting too far ahead before they get too far ahead.
Exactly. None of this, oh, you've left me behind, wait for me to catch up. It needs to be, you guys are running off, slow the pace down.
If the front guy has to worry about where the back guys are, he gets shot.
Exactly. The front guys' eyes need to be forward, as do the squad leader. He can't be worrying about the men behind him.
Hey, can you put your thing off speaker right away, Taylor?
My what off speaker?
Oh yeah, your world speaker's on.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I only realised now.
I thought it was on headphones. I've just set it to speakers.
Test. No, it's good now.
Hello? Right,
Yeah,
cool.
there we go, you're good.
Right. So, second to last formation before we get into the interesting one. I would like you to form a wedge left, again facing east-southeast. So that's a wedge left. So, I see a lot of movement. The easiest thing you could possibly do would be for Chris and O'Keefe to just move forward from their current position. Instead of moving all the way over there, if you two just moved forward, yes, it would put Burns in the middle of the formation, but at the same time, the order you're marching in doesn't really matter too much. Not when you're all got the exact same weapons as you do. So what should happen if I stand behind Wu now? I should not be able to see anyone.
There you go, guys, nice.
Able to see people.
Line up behind me.
Right, that is a pretty straight line. Fair play. Good job. So,
Nicely done, lads.
could someone tell me the when and the why of why we might use the wedge formation?
Here's a hint for you guys. It's got the very similar principles to an arrowhead.
Well, I guess the same thing as with the sniper not being able to target you easily.
Yep, spot on. So, obviously it looks like one. Essentially, if you was to merge an arrowhead and a line into one formation, the wedge is what you'd get. It is really the best of both worlds. It's a formation I'm very fond of. Obviously, well, I call it a wedge. In the US Army, they call it an echelon because they're Americans and they can't do nothing right. But I call it a wedge, and I will always call it a wedge. But yeah, it has the exact same benefits as the arrowhead. You've got a good depth in the squad, so it means any sort of nest or position will have to adjust their aim up and down to engage all of you. It makes suppressing the formation very difficult, but you also get the benefits of a column. You're covering open ground, you're all nice and spread out, but there are a few downsides. So with the arrowhead, you've got one man at the front and 2 men at the back. So if someone approaches from the rear flank, or either flank to be fair, especially in the wedge left, for example, if someone approaches from the rear or the right flank, you're going to be more vulnerable than in an arrowhead. Although there are pros over the arrowhead, so for example the arrowhead, only one side of the formation can actually fire. So if you're in an arrowhead and a contact approaches from the right, those on the left side of the arrowhead, they can't fire because they run the risk of just engaging friendly squad mates. You don't fire over friendly's heads, that's a big no-no, and obviously you don't try and shoot through them. So this does have the benefit that everybody can engage a threat from any direction, but it also has a negative that you are left open in a lot of places. Like if you're moving forward, a flank from the rear, you can only really have one man that's going to be watching that, only one man clocking on, or a flank from the right, same sort of story. It's just going to make your life not very easy. However, that being said, the wedge, in my humble opinion, is still the best formation. Has anybody got any questions on a wedge? Obviously, I would cover the right, but there's no point because it is the exact same, just flipped.
What if you would have to transfer from left to right as quick as possible?
I was about to say, it is actually so easy to transform from a left to a right. We would literally just fall back into a line. Let's do that, guys. Fall back into a line. I'll stay the center pivot. So left to right, come forward.
He means a... Wait. Oh, I know you're doing it that way. Never mind.
Yeah, got it. We made a line. Alright, now, left and right go forward. Right and my left go forward and my right goes back. Look at that. It's like we know what we're doing, guys. Right hand side you went back a little bit too much, but it's all good. Taylor, sorry, never mind.
Right, so the last formation is a spicy one. It is a formation I like a lot. It's got very niche use, however, it's got a lot of uses. So I'm just going to dot it out on the map, and I'd like you to form up into it, because I'm not going to expect you to know what this formation is, but I'm just going to dot it out on the map anyway.
Where are you on the map?
Within the blue training area that's on our current position. If you've got the GPS, open it up and you'll be able to see it.
Alright, let's follow me.
Do a half attack.
Sorry, I don't know where it is.
So
Press Control H.
It's in grid 071 break 073.
Guys, it's literally right in front of us on the map.
Ah, there she is in blue.
We don't have to go and stand on the dots. Let's just follow the formation.
No, you don't have to stand on the dots, just follow the formation, yeah.
Okay, my right will come and be the two dots. I'll be the corner. Left, you fall in behind me.
So, Wu and Binneman, you need to form a column
behind
on
me.
Burns. Chris and O'Keefe, you need to form a line on Burns.
There we go. No.
Where are you going, Chris?
Vermin,
Wait,
come behind. Yeah, come behind me, facing east.
Yeah,
So come stand in the line behind me.
Come stand
facing
in
west to
Ronstead.
east.
it was just said for me and O'Keefe to fall in line.
But I said right, come, oh, whatever.
Yeah, Taylor said the
you're right.
opposite.
You two are in a line right now.
No, this is what I said, yeah. You followed me correctly, Chris.
A line goes across, a column goes up and down.
Yeah, but we're facing east.
It's not based on compass bearings, it's based on the direction you're facing.
Yeah, so line to the east, yeah. Okay, well, we've got it right. Technicalities.
Right, so this formation, in an ideal world where you've got your full squad, you would have one fire team and a squad leader down the left or the right hand side, and you'd have the other fire team forming the line across the front. I don't expect anybody to know a particularly large amount about this formation, as it's not something many of you would have heard of before. But essentially, the main reason you would use this formation is if you're approaching an enemy position and you know you are about to attack it. So what would usually happen is the squad leader's team on the left hand side would usually be the assault team, and the fire team leader's team across the front would usually be the support team. So what's going to happen is, because the assault team is in a line, because the assault team is in a column, they are easily going to be able to just flank off to the left or flank off to the right. And because the support team is in a line, they're going to be easy to lay down, hit the deck, get to cover, whatever, and provide suppressive fire on that position whilst the assault team is flanking left or right. Has anybody got any questions on the half attack?
I actually like the idea of it being implemented more often.
No one's got any questions at all? Alright, Gleeman.
Going well?
Yeah, it's going well.
Alright. I'm just here to observe. I'm not here to take over, don't worry.
Right, so that concludes the formation section of it. Wait, is that mean Jaden's here as well?
No, he has other stuff too.
Oh, alright.
He's doing his lists now after we've done our thing, so.
Right, so yeah, that concludes the formation section of this training. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to move on to some obstacle crossings. So if you look down the road, you'll probably be able to see that there's a bridge there, and there is also a fence. In addition, so that's 2 of the 3 obstacles, and obviously we are next to the road, and the road is the 3rd obstacle. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how we can cross each of these obstacles safely, quickly, and effectively. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the easiest one, which is the fence. So if everybody would like to form a line on Burns, use the road markings down the middle of the road as your sort of marker, if you will, facing south. I just want you to line up sort of there. Oh, that's not the right button. Like there-ish. Remember spacing. Always remember spacing. So, just a quick thing in formation, especially with the column formation, when you come to a halt, don't just stop where you are. You need to close down the gap significantly to maybe about sort of 5 or 10 meters. The point is you need to be within shouting distance of the man in front and behind you when you are halted. Obviously, when you're about to step off, which you are now, then yes, get into 20 meter spacing. But when Burns calls the position halt, don't just freeze where you are. Move up closer to the man in front of you to condense the formation down.
Copy that.
Right, so when I stop moving, get them to move off and then just stop in front of me.
Alright lads, we're stepping off. Full halt.
Right, I want you to imagine you are in a hostile environment and you should treat this halt as such.
Set up a directional defense. Just everybody fishbone left and right, keep an eye out.
You call it a fishbone, interesting.
Yeah,
I call it a herringbone.
Herringbone, fishbone, yeah.
So for those of you that don't know what me and Burns are talking about, herringbone, fishbone, whatever you want to call it, essentially front man faces forward, rear man faces backwards, the guys in the middle, they go left, right, left, right, left, right, left, in that order. Obviously it could be right, it doesn't matter, as long as you alternate which direction you're facing. So what you're doing now is perfect. It doesn't make a difference which order, as long as it's alternating like it is. But yeah, they could all flip. But to be fair, if I was to give the command to rotate 180 degrees, everybody is going to rotate 180 degrees. So rotate the formation. So whichever direction you were facing previously, you should now be facing the opposite direction.
I just want to point out that the front guy and the back guy would obviously only change by 90 degrees.
I was trying to see if anybody would fall for it and start facing the rest of the squad, but you guys have got your heads on straight clearly. Good job, Chris and Burns.
We do it well done, guys.
Right, so eyes forward, boys. So when you're approaching a fence, right, this is by far the easiest obstacle to cross. Right, you don't need to do no fancy shit. All you got to do is keep your formation. Everybody face forward. Just so you know, right, so what happens is one at a time, the squad leader will call, stepping off, and then the front man will run over the fence, jump the fence, they will run forward, and they will halt on the other side, make sure they leave enough space behind them to set up a new column. And only once the first man has stopped, then the second man goes, and when the second man stops, the third man goes, and so on and so forth. When the last man is over the fence, he calls to his squad leader, last man, and then they move off again. Has anybody got any questions on that?
Do you want me to stop and guide them over, call their stop?
I want to see if they can do it for themselves.
Copy that.
You have to repeat it one more time. What do we do when we push?
So, you take turns going over, so first man's going to go over. Once Burns is on the other side and he has stopped, then O'Keefe is going to go. He's going to jump the fence, you can join up behind Burns. Once O'Keefe has stopped, then Binneman, you're going to go, and rinse and repeat the whole way down the line. What's important here is only one person is moving at a time. Does that clarify things?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Just to clarify, we stop on the other side in a halted column, right?
Yeah.
Copy that.
Brilliant. Right, when you're ready.
Alright, that's stepping off. Alright, let's move.
Oh, I knew that was going to happen to someone.
Keep going.
We wait for the man in front of you to stop and get to the other side.
Yeah, but we'll leave it to the last man. We should keep
I see what you mean. We need to move forward a little bit.
Yeah, move forward.
Okay, I say issue right now. If I didn't move, that guy on the back is already dead.
Well, the idea is that if you're in contact, you're not going to perform this maneuver.
Yeah, but we should keep moving together. Like, we keep the minimum distance thing. Even on the other side.
Alright, pass over.
Yeah, I guess, but at the same time, you've got to take into consideration if you're moving, you're not firing.
Guys, keep the questions on the radio so we can all hear and all learn. Move forward a little bit.
And then once the last man's over the fence, what's the call?
Last man.
Brilliant.
Nice.
Right, so that is how you cross a fence or a wall or any object like that. Nice and simple, it's the easiest one. Has anybody got any questions on it?
Sure, I do.
I think we're good.
Yeah, if you've got a question, ask away.
So the question is, okay, back to in my basic training in real life army. When we had to crossing a object, let's say a little wall or something,
Huddle.
we had to keep a minimum distance. Like, if the object versus me is like 10 meters, and my teammate is already crossing the fence or the wall, I also had to go to like 5 meters to keep the distance. We're not leaving the last man like over 100 meters away, and other people is crossing the fence. It's
Well,
no matter under any kind of situation. It's no matter on the combat situation or we are in green zone. That is just a thing you should keep in your muscle memory. That should not get changed under any second situation at all.
Right, that's a fair point. So the way we was taught is essentially, if you're moving, you can't be shooting. Like, those two things don't really work hand in hand very well. So essentially, because you are so close together, maybe 5 meters. First and the rear man they're going to be less than 50 meters apart. Now, fully kitted out, you could sprint that in 10 seconds tops. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I do. But there are a few ways that you can counteract that. So once you form up your halted column on the other side, if you form up into a herringbone, then the rear man is going to be facing towards the man that's about to jump the fence. And in that situation, he's going to have some level of protection. Obviously, obstacle crossings are dangerous as it is. Now, there is no way to do it that guarantees 100% safety. It's not possible. Obviously, if it was, then people wouldn't die. But unfortunately, they do. But no, I 100% get where you're coming from. By moving up sort of with the squad, as one person steps off, the rest sort of take the person in front of them's position and step close to the fence. I get where you're coming from. It makes sense. That's not the way I was taught, but I'm not going to say it's wrong, because it's not, because it does make sense. So yeah, we could do that. I don't see any issues with that, especially if once you get to the halted column on the other side, if you do take a herringbone formation, then that rear man is going to be able to cover the people coming over the fence. So the fact they're constantly moving is going to be not so much of an issue. But no, I'm glad you can provide feedback. I do appreciate it. Even the criticism, I love it. I'm not perfect, so
No,
if you
perfect. I just point out the thing I learned during the time while in the infantry school.
That's great, and I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. One of the main reasons we're doing this, guys, is because there is a lack of basic functionality, and this sharpens it. So I know that not everybody loves doing this, but it's useful. It's very, very useful, and it's a way that we keep our teams safe and alive. When we get to the point, do our mission, come back, minimal injuries, no deaths.
Yes,
and we had fun.
Yes, I understand that part.
Great.
So, is that any more questions on the fence crossing?
No, many ways lead to Rome. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yep.
Yeah, there's never going to be one solution to a problem. There's going to be countless solutions. All of them are going to have different levels of effectiveness. And which one you go on usually just will depend on your squad leader, what they decide and what they feel is the best one. But then again, a good squad leader should always take the advice and take suggestions from his squad. So just then, like what Wu's just said, I think it's spot on. If he was in the field and he said, look, shouldn't we all be moving up at the same time, I probably would have turned around and gone, yeah, you're right, we should. Let's go.
As long as you know what you're doing and not everyone's doing their own thing because it makes sense. Stick to one thing.
Yeah, work together as a team. That's the idea behind it. Suggestions can be made, but they've got to be made sharp, so that you don't make the suggestion when we've started running already. You know what I mean? Of course. Unless you see there's a problem, you go, whoa, we're getting attacked from this side. We need to adapt, and then you adapt because the order will be given. Adapt.
Yeah. Just another thing with suggestions. Obviously, everyone's going to have their own idea on how to do things. But at the end of the day, this is a mil sim unit. So if you're given an order from your squad leader or fire team leader, even if you don't necessarily agree with it, you have to follow it. And if it turns out their decision was wrong, you can deal with that after the fact. I appreciate the whole shoot first, ask questions later is not a good mindset to be in. But unfortunately, that's the way it is with the military. If you get told to do something, you do it. And then once you've done it, then you can kick up a fuss about it. If you kick up a fuss before or whilst you're doing it, that's how people end up dead.
If you question why you're being sent forward, the guy you're going to go and reinforce dies.
But yeah,
if you go forward when you were ordered to, you're going to go and rescue the guy, essentially. But you're saving his life by supporting him, even if the order doesn't look like it's a good idea.
Right, good evening. So the next one, we're just going to do a simple road crossing. So I'm just going to demonstrate solo Mio, and then I'd like you to all sort of do it. So could you just get in sort of a half circle around me just here, just so you can all see.
Come, lads.
Don't worry too much about spacing because this is a lesson. So, when you're approaching a road crossing, it's the exact same as a fence, right? You come up to the obstacle, you perform a halted column, right? You all sit there. The section commander, who's usually the second man, will come up to the front and have a little nosy about, think, right, what's going on, right? If he deems it safe to cross, he's going to give the order to cross. So this is how you cross a road safely. So imagine we are all in a column. First man is going to come up to the road, he's going to take a prone position, and he's going to look to his left, and he's going to watch up the road and make sure there's nothing going on up the road. And then once he's in position, the second man is going to come and sprint across the road as fast as he can. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Right, he's going to sprint across the road as fast as he can, go prone and watch the opposite direction. So essentially, Burns, if you could take up my original position, please.
Copy that.
So essentially, now you've got somewhat of a path in between these two men that's going to be fairly safe. So with a road crossing, because roads are one of the biggest kill zones out there. Roads and bridges are the most dangerous places to be. They're open, there's no cover, and people like to use them for ambushes. It's just how it is. So the goal here is to get everybody across as quickly as possible. So unlike with the fence where you went one at a time, with a road crossing, everybody in that column is all going to sprint across that road, bang, 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 get across it as soon as you can. And once you've got across the road, then you form up your halted column on the other side, and the first and second man then return to the front of the line, and you step off again. Anybody got any questions on that?
No, I think we should practice it.
Yeah, right, let's give it a go. So I would like Binneman to be point man, Burns number 2.
Copy that.
Do you know what you're doing, Binneman?
Form halted column, guys.
Alright, squad, prepare to cross.
Squad ready.
Cross.
Who crossing?
Cross, cross, cross.
Last man.
Keep going, form up that position on the other side. You don't need to provide cover to the northward because Binneman's already doing that. You
Yeah,
just need
but
to get
when
that
he's
position
moving-
on the other side.
But when he's moving, no one's watching north.
That's correct. Because
So-
in the
Under
Hello.
any second situation, you should have 2 persons watching the either side for the road.
Why?
So when the last man is moving, no one's watching north anymore. In the time, if someone's shooting to us from the north, everyone dies.
Where if
So
someone's
minimum
shooting you
one guy
from,
shoot.
if
So-
someone's engaging you, you're not going to cross the road. Because as I said
Yeah.
previously, roads are
Well,
kill
you
zones.
neutralize first.
You neutralise the threat first. As
Yeah,
Burns just
but
said.
that is during when we crossing the road. You can't
well-
guarantee anything during the combat
Okay,
situation.
okay, so to point that out to you, you're not wrong, Wu. So when, let's say we're in the middle of crossing and we get engaged, what do we do? Yeah?
We're no longer crossing a road with return fire.
Hang on, what do you mean?
We're no longer crossing a road. Okay, let's say the third person is crossing a road. He finishing crossing a road, no one after that is keep crossing. It just return fire and neutralizes the threat first.
Yes.
Then after
Yeah.
that, we will keep crossing the road. If
Yes.
the situation
Yes.
is allowed us. But
Yes,
when
exactly,
the
yeah.
last person is crossing the road, the last 2 persons should keep watching the other side, like take the point.
But
So
if
yeah,
it's
that's,
if it's the last person, he's literally the last
What
person
is-
to cross the road.
What he's saying is that, let's say Wu was the last guy to cross, he would then cover north, and O'Keefe, you were the second last, you would cover south, while me and the guy that we're pointing down the road, we get up, and you
Yes.
covering where we're getting up from.
Yeah.
That's what he's
So-
saying.
that's why
Yeah,
when you're
so
in a
he's
halted
right.
column, you should automatically be in a herringbone position.
Exactly. When the moment the 3 of you stop on the other side, you point your guns out
So yeah,
directions.
you are right. Someone does need to be covering north, but because obviously you're going to be formed up in a column over here, someone is going to be facing north, but they're not going to be so close to the road. Because even here, I'm in the grass. I've got better cover here than you do there because there's no grass where you're stood. So yeah, you're right. You are right. You're 100% right. Don't get me wrong. However, you shouldn't have been so close to the road. So
yeah, you guys just needed to push a little bit further.
Just a little bit further forward. That's all.
But then, Wu, you would have stayed here at the end of the road. Like you would have stopped here, and you would have covered because the first guy was pointing to the north. You would have covered north, and the guy in front of you would have stopped around here somewhere, and he would have covered south. But the bridge is in the way. Let's just imagine the bridge is not there. He would then cover south, so that the north and south guy on the road can call. You guys would then call in. Right, north-south covered. We would then get up and follow you guys into column. You got it right, 100%. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, 100%. Right. Has anybody got any questions on a road crossing?
Would you guys like to practice it one more try?
Yeah, let's give it another go. Form where you are. This time I want you to cross... Oh, sorry, go on, okay.
There's also mannerisms for platoon to cross, where you got the first upbringing squad, essentially putting people on both sides of the road, like making a square where they can push through. That squad also pushes out, set up a new perimeter on the other side, at least this is how I've been taught it, and then the entire platoon pushes through, and the squad that was in the lead first then becomes rear squad.
Yeah, of course. The only problem is, unfortunately, we don't have the attendance to do that.
I know, but
you are 100% right.
We're working with what we got right now.
When it gets to the point, so in a couple of weeks' time, when we're doing a home rotation, we will touch on this again, and we will be able to do it with the full platoon because it'll be a mandatory event, and we should have at least sort of 15 people there.
And then you won't have the problem that Wu mentioned, where there's suddenly someone not near the road watching north. Because right now we got an open field on the eastern side, but let's just say it's heavy, densely foliage. Yeah, he's right. There's no one covering north. But he was. So there's a little bit of estimation for his own safety, whether or not he can think that he can make that go. I've been taught that it doesn't really matter because he already knows what is supposedly there. But if there's a turn, it's just a shitty location, and you might have someone looking out. That's just what I've been taught.
Yeah, that's fair.
I like that everybody is hearing and everyone's learning. And we're just sharpening up the pencils again.
Everybody's giving input.
Wrong during that situation. Everyone is right. Just different situation has a different way to deal with.
Yeah, there's no perfect way to do it. Obviously, I'm just showing you sort of the generic way. Obviously, if you're in an urban area, it'd be entirely different because you'd have buildings either side of the street.
Yeah.
But yeah. Right, Jaden's joining us, so whoever he is. So that's going to make things a little bit easier for the extra man.
Yeah, and Raina and Jaden can join us as well if they want.
If needed, I will step in, but I will stay hidden for now. I'm just I'm observing and seeing what we can train later as well.
Yeah. So
and if any suggestions that come up for the platoon level, I will be writing up, and we will be addressing them during platoon trainings. So don't worry.
Cool. Let's continue.
Yeah, we're just going to do exactly what we did again. However, this time I want to cross the road in the opposite direction, just because you're all on that side of the road. Right. So form up again.
Quickly, I kind of don't know what we're doing.
Just watch, stay in the room.
Right, just stay with me. In fact, yeah, just stay behind Chris, Jaden.
Okay.
Stand behind Chris and just copy Chris. Do what Chris does.
I'll take the rear.
Oh, right, yeah, cool.
I'm taking front, I guess.
Yeah, cool, good.
Hello, Chris.
Rotate the roles, that's what we'd like to see. Don't want everyone doing the same thing every time.
Right, squad prepared to cross.
We're crossing, watch your north.
Squad ready.
Oh, keep going. My bad.
Squad move forward.
So Jaden, you're sprinting across the road as quickly as you can. That's all you got to do. Last man.
Last man north is covered.
Last man.
And then once the full squad is across the road, 1 and 2 will then move back to the front of the line. Because obviously person 1 is the point man. Point man always takes point.
Yeah, you guys go past.
So yeah, so you run past the line and go back to the front,
past,
guys.
One left, one right. Go past the column. Run to the, yeah, one left, one right, whatever.
Doesn't
And
matter
you
if they
guys
go the
end up
same
in
way.
the front again.
Covering.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go. Nicely done.
Anyone got any questions on that?
No.
No. Gleaming. Right, so the last one is the bridge crossing. Now, bridges are even more dangerous than roads because they are choke points. Whilst you are on the bridge, you have no cover. You can only go 2 directions. You can only go forwards and backwards. Where on the road, you have 360 dimensions. You can run any direction you choose. On a bridge, you do not have that privilege. We try to avoid bridge crossings where at all possible for this reason. However, sometimes it is not possible to avoid crossing a bridge, and it must be done. Obviously, when it must be...
Oh, you can hear me, yeah. Well, I'm on the radio.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm on the radio.
Everyone huddle.
Everyone huddle up.
But, so yeah, when it must be done,
Form a
there are
block.
ways to do it to sort of minimise casualties. However, unfortunately, bridges are dangerous. Chances are, running across the bridge, you're going to get sniped because they are probably the ideal ambush point. Someone could put an explosive device underneath the bridge, and as soon as the majority of the squad is on the bridge, kaboom! There's nothing you can do about it. So we do try to avoid crossing a bridge where at all possible, but when we have to, this is what we do. So, again, if you would like to just form up in a column sort of on me.
Line up.
Fire.
So, well, before you cross, first and second man, they are going to take up positions either side of the bridge, just here, and they are going to be looking across to the other side, right? Because obviously you can't see over the hump of the bridge. You can see down the side of the bridge. So they're just going to, if it's prone, crouched, whatever, if they're even on the bridge a little bit, peek in the corner, whatever, right? First and second man are going to be watching across the bridge, right? Because that is the unknown. You know what's behind, well, you should know what's behind you, and hopefully it's nothing, because if there was something, it's already been neutralised. The first and second man, if you would like to take up that position, left and right of the bridge. And then, what's going to happen is the next 2 are going to run across the bridge as quickly as they can, just as they did with the road crossing at the exact same time. And what they're going to do is they're going to take the position on the other side of the bridge, like Jaden and Burns are, and they're going to be watching east, right? And as soon as they have done that, as soon as these 2 boys can see that the third and fourth man are in position, the first and second man are going to flip 180 and watch the rear. So if you 2 would like to do that, sprint across that bridge as quickly as you can.
When you're in position, take your position, and Burns and Jaden will flip to cover the rear. Obviously, radio this isn't a focus on communication. It's not communication training. However,
What's the party said?
There you go.
Copy that.
So these 2 flip, and then the rest of the squad sprints across that bridge as quickly as they fucking can.
Squad move.
And then when the last man gets across the bridge, he shouts last men to the two men watching east, and then those two men then flip around, rotate 180 to watch the west, because the rest of the squad is now covering east. So Binneman and O'Keefe, you're watching west, and then when you are watching west, then the last 2 run across the bridge, knowing that their rear is covered.
Last man cross.
And once you're across the bridge, you set up an ARD. That's perfect, because crossing a bridge, you don't know what's on this side. If you set up a column, you're just setting yourself up to get ambushed. And once you've secured the area, like you have done, then you may form up your column and prepare to move off again.
Alright lads, we form a column.
Has anybody got any questions on a bridge crossing?
We'll form one route. Any questions lads?
Step forward, guys. Chris is still on the bridge.
Yep, copy that. Move out to the right. Yep.
Right. So who was 1 and 2 last time? Jaden and Burns. Who was 3 and 4?
Me and
Binneman.
someone.
Binneman and Chris. Okay, so O'Keefe and Woo go to the front. Jaden and Burns take up positions 3 and 4. Binneman and Chris go to the rear. We're going to do it again, just so you can familiarise yourself. Obviously rotating the roles. Now, hopefully, nobody is in the same position they were in last time. If anybody is in the same position they were in last time, let me know. We'll rotate
me and Benjamin are in the exact same positions.
You two go last time.
No. I was third.
No, you were second and third. You were.
Yeah, hang on.
You were 3 and 4.
I started at the back of the column. On the
So you were
other
the
side.
last man across the... So you weren't holding any angles on the bridge?
No, we were the 3rd and 4th across the bridge, but we started at the back of the column like we are now.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I meant 3rd and 4th in the column, not 3rd and 4th across the bridge. Alright, so when we crossed the first time, who was holding east? Burns and Jaden.
Yep.
And then they rotated. So who were the first two on this side of the bridge?
I and where's the other? I don't remember.
O'Keefe. Wu and O'Keefe.
Right, Wu and O'Keefe go to the back of the line.
Copy.
Binneman and Chris come to the front of the line.
Move back, Jaden.
So we're going to do exactly what we just did again. Has anyone got any questions before we give it a go? No, right.
Squad, prepare to cross. So just a little side note, you're going to hear 2 commands. Well, if you're in my squad, I do things properly. So the command prepare to cross does not mean do anything, it just means get ready.
Yeah, step back,
It just means make sure you've got a magazine in your weapon. Even if you've got 29 rounds in your magazine, fucking reload it, because 30 is better than 29. You can repack your mags later. And then, so you hear usually it would be the command prepare to move. And then once you hear the command prepare to move, you've got about 5 seconds to prepare, reload. Obviously, if you're the machine gunner, don't fucking reload, because you're going to be there for half an hour. Right. And then after you've heard the command prepare to move, there'll be a second command, simply move. When you hear that command, that's when you go. So, squad prepare to cross.
Squad ready.
Squad ready.
Cross. Good job.
Facing west.
Go, 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 go.
Copy, take left.
Crossing clear.
The Binneman and Chris rotate 180. No, Binneman, get back
wait,
here.
That's right, sorry.
You rotate,
Yep.
watch the rear. Last 2 men are going to go. Wu's going to shout last man.
Who last man?
So you know he's past you. The second he gets to the other side, these two are going to switch around.
Switching.
And now you two go. Once the rear is covered by the 2 blokes on the other side, then you can cross the bridge. I'm going to come up here as well. I haven't been across the bridge yet. And then again, you just form up into column and prepare to step off. Right, has anybody got any questions on crossings? Any questions on any of the crossings we've done? The fence, the road, or the bridge? Anything at all? No?
I think we're all good.
Beautiful. Right, so that covers all of the movement section of this training. It's gone on for a little bit longer than I expected, so I'll try and wrap the rest of it up as quickly as I can. I was going to do a section on fire control orders, however that's not necessarily relevant. One thing I do want to touch on is bounding. So does anybody not know what bounding is? If you do
Excessive
know,
or alternative?
pardon?
Excessive or alternative?
What
do you mean?
So, right, I know it is leapfrog and caterpillar. I'm assuming alternative is where they go level with each other. Excessive is where the rear man goes in front of the other man. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know it is leapfrogging and caterpillar, but
I
O'Keefe knows what O'Keefe knows what it is.
Excessive as well.
Right. So bounding is simple. Burns, I assume you know how to bound.
I wonder.
Right. So me and Burns are going to give you a quick little demonstration.
Okay.
So when you're bounding, right, essentially the idea is you're moving forward whilst continuously firing. That way, the enemy is suppressed and you're at no risk of getting shot whilst you're advancing the position. There are different ways you can bound. The most common way is a buddy system, where it's just the 2 of you. However, you can also bound as a team, so you split into 2 pairs. and bound as a team, or you can bound as a whole squad, in which case you split into the 2 teams of 4. 1 team's firing, 1 team's moving. However, I find if you're bound as a squad, it can lead to things getting very confusing very quickly. So buddy is the easiest way to bound. So what Burnt and I are going to do is we're just going to bound up to that car. We're just going to do a little short bound. Do you know what I mean by leapfrog and caterpillar?
I think so.
So caterpillar, we move level with each other. Leapfrog, we move beyond each other.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Right.
Got you.
So I'm
Which one?
going to be providing. So we'll do caterpillar first. So I'm going to be providing the fire first. So all you got to do is, if you're providing firing first, get prone, motherfucker. You want to get shot. So always make sure you're on your belly. You want to make sure you're as least exposed as possible.
Burns has a pretty big belly, so he's actually on his belly right now.
Ah.
It's touching his front.
What are you talking about? I'm slim. Okay, you ready?
Go prone. Why aren't you prone? You're crouched.
Wait, what?
Do as Taylor does.
You're not prone, mate. You're crouched.
There
you go.
Yeah. I thought you were going to lay down the first cover and I was going to move first.
So before you move, you both need to be prone before you move, right? Because you need to do a few
things. That you
things.
play it that way. My apologies.
That's all right. So,
Got you.
Obviously you've got your team leaders, your squad leaders, whatever. Within a buddy system, one of you needs to nominate yourselves to be the lead, right? Even if you're the same rank, one of you just has to nominate to be the lead, right? Because otherwise it's going to get confusing quickly. So the command you need to know is prepare to move, which means slap a magazine in your rifle, because not having a magazine in your rifle ain't going to do anyone any good. There we go. Prepare to move is to just reload. Doesn't matter how many rounds you got, fucking reload. Then you hear the command move. When you hear the command move, you are to stand up, sprint, and in your head, the second you stand up, you are to think in your head 2, 3 up, 2, 3 down. And that is how long your bound is. So just for example, if I give the command move, 2, 3 up, 2, 3 down. Didn't go very far, but that's how short it needs to be. You need to be up for a minimum time as possible. Right? And once you go down, all you got to do is shout set, so your buddy knows you're on the ground, ready to provide fire. Anybody got any questions on that so far?
When we do it, can we actually fire?
Yes. This will be a live fire exercise. Right, we're just going to scoot back a little bit, Burn, so we've got a little bit more room to run. We probably should have stood up and turned around, but this is going to work.
Wiggle, 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 dude.
Yeah, I'm just going to. Right. It'll do.
So you can use the radio, however I would advise against it, because you've got to remember your whole squad is going to be on the radio.
So, can you all still hear us shouting?
Should be able to.
The car's the finish line, Jaden.
Guys, can you hear us?
You are?
Right, so
sweet.
You're moving first. Right.
Copy that.
Prepare to move.
Ready.
Move. Oh, I didn't even see he was there.
Ready.
2, 3 up. Right, we need to start again because I fucked Jaden. Fuck.
I got him.
You got him?
That was brilliant.
I didn't even see him, I just started firing.
Never fear.
Right, do not stand in the line of fire.
Why were you there in the first place?
That's like rule number 1.
So right, we'll try this again. Prepare to move.
Ready.
Move. Wait, halt. No. Fucking magazine's fucked. Try this again. Right, ready to move?
Hold. Ready.
Move.
Ready.
Move in. Set.
Ready.
Moving. Set.
Ready?
Moving. Set.
Reloading. Ready? Finish.
So has anybody got any questions on how to do that? Anybody got any questions at all?
Nope.
Nope. Right, Gleeman. So everybody should be firing at a slow rate, not full auto, but you should be firing sort of semi-automatic. Jaden, you should be firing in bursts.
Yes, I know.
I just can't help that habit of double tapping.
No, that's fine.
We'll work on it.
O'Keefe, you've done it before.
Yeah.
Woo, have you done it before?
I don't real life. I don't like it.
No one likes doing it in real life. You get very wet, very muddy, and you get fucking... you get mud in your barrel, you get mud in your magazine, you get mud in your dust cover, you get mud up your nose. Right, so so what I want to do is Burns take Jaden, Chris take Woo, no sorry, Woo take Chris, and O'Keefe take Binneman. I'm going to try and pair you up so you've got one person that's done it and one person that hasn't done it. So I want you to get into buddies, so you should be shoulder to shoulder with your buddy, but I also want you to spread out. The fence is one gap, the bridge is the second perimeter. So starting from sort of this position here, where I'm stood now, you should be shoulder to shoulder with your buddy, this side of the fence, O'Keefe.
Wait, guys, come closer.
So O'Keefe and Binneman, if you want to hug the fence, you two hug the bridge, and you two in the middle perfectly. So you're going to be in your buddy system, so you should all be prone. Rainer's done us a courtesy of putting out some targets. You should be shoulder to shoulder with your buddy and on the deck, so you don't get sniped. So what we're going to do is you're just going to bound up to those line of targets. That's all you're going to do. So in your buddies, nominate. In fact, I'm going to nominate the leads for you. Woo is lead, Burns is lead, O'Keefe is lead. This is not a favouritism thing, it is an experience thing. So don't get offended if you're not the lead. So, when you are ready, you are going to command yourselves, move yourselves, and do it yourselves. Up to that line, and once you've done it, I'll be watching you from behind, and I'll point out some tips, etc. So whenever you're ready, go for it.
Right. Jaden, you ready?
I'm ready.
Right.
As the Dutch call it, vuursteun. Binneman, move.
Move.
Set.
Set.
Moving.
Set.
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 Reloading. Moving.
Loading.
Set.
Ready.
Reloading.
Finish.
Finish.
Hold when you get level to just hold there, yep. Alright, fall in.
I love these power lines above our heads.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. It's trippy, eh? Zoom. Dead end.
Right. So, few pointers. When you are moving, you don't want to be crouched. You don't want to be moving like this. You want to be moving like this. You want to be moving as quickly as possible. You want to be up for as little time as possible. The longer you're up, the more likely you are to get shot. I appreciate the argument, oh, I'm smaller. I've got a smaller profile here. That is true, but you're also slower, right? Anyone that's ever shot a rifle ever will know it's much easier to hit a slow-moving target than a quick-moving target.
No matter how small.
No matter how small or big, a slow, small target is still easier to hit than a quick, big target. 100%. Right? It's easier to hit a cat that's walking than a deer that's running.
There we go.
Are they actually the same speed?
Yep.
Oh.
Nope.
Alright, then ignore that part. If they're the same speed, they're the same fucking speed.
Can we prove that?
It's
Right,
just
yeah,
animation.
yeah.
But different.
Let's test this theory. Right, Burns, you ready? You
Hang
crouch
on.
on
Let's get to a line. Get to a line here.
I'm a lot lighter than you, though, so this might not be a fair test.
What's your kilos?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I'm 26.
I'm 16.
I'll stay crouched.
So someone else give us a countdown.
3,
shoulder your
2,
rifle. Shoulder your rifle.
Wait, shoulder the
Wait,
rifle.
shoulder rifle.
Don't show your rifles. Do it if your rifles.
Oh,
in your
right, yeah,
hands.
because we're not going to have our rifle shouldered if we're bounding.
Of course.
3, 2,
Okay, it's not right.
1, go.
Go.
Fuck me.
Burns had a slow start.
Yeah,
but it is
no,
same
you're
speed.
right. Well, it was the same speed, but he just set off slightly after me. We kept alright. It is true. The speeds are the same, so scratch what I said. Because the speeds are the same, it doesn't really make too much of a difference. Obviously, if you are crouched, you're a smaller profile, which means you will be harder to hit as a smaller profile, especially if you're the same speed. So, if you want to stay crouched while you're bounding, stay crouched. But yeah. Other than that, that looks.
Damn you, Arma.
That looks really good, guys.
Chris, can you hear me all the way over there?
Yeah.
Alright, cool, I want you radio. That looked really good, I'm happy with that. We're going to do it one more time, however this time, I want the buddy lead to switch. So, in this case, Jaden, Chris and Binneman, you're going to be the leads, and all you're going to do is the exact same thing.
If you have to reload, make sure that your buddy knows it so it doesn't stand up without cover.
Yep. Where are you going? So if you have to reload, shout magazine, or reload, or whatever. I always shout magazine. It just lets your buddy know. Don't literally shout the word whatever.
Whatever.
it just lets your buddy know that you have no ammo and you are reloading. Jaden, are you?
He's AFK 2 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah, that's okay.
It's alright.
He'll get his chance later.
Right. So when you're ready, Binneman and Chris, you're going to be leading. You're doing the exact same thing again. Off you go whenever you're ready.
You ready, Goose?
Ready.
Ready? Okay, go.
Moving.
It's okay. They don't need to dump. They don't need to drop. Gives them something to shoot at for longer.
Set. Go.
Magazine.
Awesome. Like I said, gives them something to shoot at.
Set.
Moving.
It gives them something to
Loading.
do. Yeah,
Sorry.
something to
Whoa.
actually shoot at.
I had 1 bullet left.
Set. They can't stay with this fucking rifle. Crazy.
Oh my god, it's a fucking laser
Set.
thing.
Uh-huh. This is the block 3, right? Block 3.
He's down.
I believe.
All clear.
I got block 2, Suki.
Aha.
Magazine.
Block 3, green team. Even more stable.
Who's doing?
Right, move back, team.
I exist now.
Good.
Oh, you exist. Brilliant. Right, so as soon as Jaden's back, we are going to prepare for a.
Come on, guys, you're hot flagging here with those pistols, and yeah, there we go. Thanks.
We're going to prepare for an objective. So if you open the map, you will all see there's a blue line traced from this training area down southeast towards the dismount point, and you'll see over checkpoint Hamish there is an objective. So, in the recent tensions, the hostiles from below the DMZ have decided they want to get a little bit ballsy, and they have taken checkpoint Hamish from US forces. Our mission is quite simple: take it back. There's a battle platoon sized element there. They have machine guns. Most of them are Africans with no training, so they shouldn't be too much of a threat. If they can hit any of you, I'll be surprised. So, before we prepare, I'm just going to go over a few simple drills. So the first one is reaction to effective enemy fire. Now there is an acronym we use for what you need to do when you are under effective enemy fire. So can anyone tell me what this acronym is? It's 3 letters long.
I know it, but I can't tell you because I've forgotten it.
Right, so the acronym is RTR, Romeo Tango Romeo. Now, what each of these stand for? So the first one is return fire. So if you come into contact, the first thing you need to do is return fire. If that's even 1 or 2 or 3 shots. The second you come into contact, you find the enemy and then that's it. Just return fire.
Take cover.
Make them take cover as much as you're trying to get to cover.
Exactly. Then the T, as Jaden jumped the gun, is take cover. If there's no cover around you, just hit the deck. There's no point. What Jaden did, he just sprinted 10 metres off to his left. It's probably not a problem because it's not that far away. But let's say the nearest cover was that Humvee. You're not going to bother sprinting to it. You're just going to hit the deck where you stand because it's not worth getting shot on your way to it. Right? That's take cover. And the final R is return appropriate fire. So you only need to return as much fire as necessary. If they've got their heads down behind a sandbag, you do not need to be like this at the sandbag. There is no need, right? You need to fire short bursts if you're a machine gunner, or single rounds if you're a rifleman. If they're in cover, all you got to do... Jaden. I don't have earplugs in, you motherfucker. What you got to do is just like that. Obviously, if they're up and about and you can see them, then sure. Time them. Return appropriate fire. Right? You need to take into account that you've only got a limited number of magazines. You don't want to waste them all. Right? That simple reaction to effective enemy fire RTR drill. Anybody got any questions on that? No questions. We're not going to practice that one because it's simple shit. Right?
Sweet.
Last bit of theory is a squad attack. Now, this is British Army doctrine, I will admit. So the Rangers may not use it in real life. I don't know if any foreign forces use it. However, this is the doctrine we use to conduct a squad assault. So we use an acronym known as PRESAR. So that's PRESAR. So the first one is, the first P is the preparation for battle. This is done long before you're going to come into contact. You're making sure that you're ready for battle. You've got your weapon's serviceable. If you've got a scope, it's on. If you need a suppressor on or off. You've got your helmet on, you've got your plate carrier on, whatever. That's your prep for battle. There's a number of things you need to check. So the official list is protection, ammunition, weapons, personal camouflage, equipment, radios, specialist equipment, and finally your orders. Obviously, that's a long old list. So the main things there to take into account is make sure you have your helmet on. Make sure you've got ammunition for your weapon. Make sure your radio's on the correct frequency, and make sure you know what your orders are from your squad or team leader. Those are the main ones to take away from the prep for battle. The next step is your reaction to effective enemy fire. So when you're advancing towards the enemy position, chances are you're going to come under enemy fire. They're going to see you. It's just how it is. We're not the fucking Special Air Service. We're not sneaky motherfuckers. We're the army. So you're going to get seen. You're going to come into fire. You've got to react to that. Obviously, we've just covered how you react to effective enemy fire. That's the second point. The third one, the E, is locating the enemy. If anybody tries to tell me that's an L, I'm going to slap them. So the E is locating the enemy. Enemy, where are they? You need to find them. Are they 100 metres away? Are they 200 metres away? Are they to your left? Are they to your right? You need to find exactly where they are. That is your enemy. And obviously you do that after you've done your reaction to effective enemy fire. So whilst you return fire, then you take cover, then you return your appropriate fire. You need to be finding where this enemy is. Because while you're returning appropriate fire, you're not going to be accurate. You're just aiming roughly where you think they are. But then you find the enemy location. Then once you've done that, you move on to step 4. Suppress. My weapon cooked off. Brilliant. Then you move on to step 4. The step 4 is suppress the enemy. So it's similar to returning appropriate fire, but suppressing the enemy is accurate. You know where the enemy is. You're firing to keep their head down. You're making sure they don't get up and they do not return fire. That's step 4. Step 5 is the attack itself. Now, how you conduct this attack is up to your squad leader, right? Whether they use a half attack formation, whether they send one team to the left, one team to the right, if they have one team in the middle, one team flanking, if they have both teams attack head on. It's entirely up to your squad lead how the attack is conducted. But step 5 is the attack itself. So there are some key steps to the attack. So obviously you've got the assault, which is where you move up to the position, you take the position, you eliminate any hostile threat within the position. That's the assault. And the second step of the attack is fighting through. There is no good taking a position and standing there, because if anybody's run away, all they're going to do is run away, turn around and come back. You need to fight through. You need to take that position and keep going. Keep going until you know the area is safe. You know there's anyone that's retreated is either dead or surrendered, or they've gone far enough away that they're not going to be a threat. That is the fight through. The last step is to regroup. So once you've fought through, you regroup on the position you've just taken, and your squad lead and your fire team lead will conduct a number of checks. So the way I like to look at things is your squad leader is the dad of the group. He's the big boss telling you what to do. The fire team leader is the mum of the squad. Fire team leader's coming around checking, are you okay? Are you hungry?
I'll be right back.
Like checking your ammunition, checking your health are the main two things of the fire team leader. They'll be going around the whole squad, not just their team. Right? And the acronym we use for the regroup is PACESDO. So that's PACESSDO, which stands for protection, ammunition, casualties, equipment, searchers, sit rep, dig in, and lastly orders. So protection is simple. Obviously it's not really applicable because I don't know if our helmets can get shot off as such. Obviously in real life, if you take a round to your vest is fucked. You need a new one as soon as possible. Not really applicable to armor. Ammunition is always important after a section attack. Check your ammunition. You're going to they're kind of outside and status. There you go, perfect. So protection irrelevant. Ammunition, after you've done the squad attack, you're going to be low on ammo. Not necessarily out, but you're going to have less than when you started. So you need to check your ammunition. Can you keep fighting if need be? Fuck off cooking off. Can you keep fighting if need be? If not, you need to call in a supply drop or whatever. Third step is casualties. Check the casualties. See, the chance of you getting through a squad attack with nobody getting injured is slim to none. Check your casualties. Get your squad medic to triage. So this is obviously going to be covered in the medical training next Thursday. But you need to triage. That's the first step. You need to assess the casualties. If you've got more than one casualties, prioritise them. If someone's got a bullet to the head, they're going to be treated before someone that's got a minor scrape to their left arm. It's just medical 101. And if you're in like a mass cas situation, just for example, I'm not going to say this is official, this is my opinion. If you're in a mass cas situation, you've got someone that's unconscious and not breathing, don't even bother treating them. Leave them, move on to someone you can actually save. That's to see. After that is your equipment. So your grenades, if you've got a mine detector, things like that. Just making sure everything, you still got it. If you need to restock on grenades, restock on grenades. First S is searchers. So what the squad lead will do is he'll arrange a small search party, maybe 2 or 3 guys, to just go and check the immediate area again, just to make sure that nobody's trying to sneak back up on them. And then once they've done that, they come back and you do the second S, which is a situation report. So your team lead and all your squaddies are going to chat to the squad lead and they're going to say, right, I've seen this, I've seen that, this is what's going on over here, this is what's going on over there. Once the squad lead's got that information, they're then going to pass it up the food chain, whatnot, and they'll deal with it. Right? The next step is to dig in. You need to make sure that position you are at is secure. And if anybody tries to take it back from you, you fight them the hell off. Right? That's the dig in. Sometimes you'll have to dig in, sometimes you won't. Let's say you're moving through a building, you're attacking a built up area. You're not going to dig into every single building. You're just going to move door to door, kicking door in, clearing the building, moving out. Right? And the last final step is orders. Again, as always, just check you know what your orders are. Right? The orders come down the food chain. Platoon command gives it to your squad lead. Squad lead gives you your orders. You know what you're doing, where you're going, how it's going to happen. That is how you do a squad attack. Also known as the 6 section battle drills. So just to recap, the 6 battle drills are preparation for battle, reaction to effective enemy fire, locating the enemy, suppressing the enemy, the attack, and finally regrouping. Has anybody got any questions on how to do a squad attack? There is no way none of you have no questions after all of that waffle I just spat out.
Probably won't be able to remember it in the heat of the moment, but I get the general idea.
That's fine. I'm not expecting you to learn first time. This is something that is going to be taught again and again because it is something you need to know. Because especially when we're attacking positions, we end up with an awful lot of casualties. A lot more than we should. If we do things properly, we should be minimising the casualties. But that's the whole point of this now objective that we're going to spend sort of the next 15 minutes doing. We're going to sort of follow the drills, everything you've learnt today. There shouldn't be too much sort of movement-wise. Couple of formations might be used. but most importantly is the bounding will have to be utilised, and what you've just practiced, and all the theory I've just taken you through about a squad attack. So if anybody's got any questions, let them know. Otherwise, we're going to step off. We are now going to be entering a live fire situation. So can someone place down an arsenal, please? Wait, Chris, do you have your full medical kit?
I do not. I'm also down to 2+1 mags.
Everybody rearm. Chris, grab your full medical kit.
Do you want me to stay as AR or do you want me to grab normal rifle?
Stay as AR.
Oh, I'm back.
I have one thing I wanted to add as well to everything that you've done. It's not anything different. It is just something else. When you've seen contact, don't forget to, or as they say, remember your 3 Ds when it comes to calling out a contact.
Copy that.
Distance, direction, and a description. Call out which direction they are, how far they are, and then anything that can help your buddies actually find them.
Exactly. One thing I do want to mention before we go into this live fire drill is the rules of engagement.
Oh, yes, please.
There are no civilians, to my knowledge. You are to return fire only. Unless instructed otherwise by your squad lead, you are to return fire only. Do not engage unless you are being engaged. Unless your squad lead specifically instructs you to take that man down. Because we want to try and maintain an element of surprise. We don't want them to know we're here before they need to know we're here. Right? You're going to have to cover maybe 800 meters on foot. There are patrols before you get to the checkpoint. If one of them patrols spots you and alerts the checkpoint, you're going to have 16 guys chasing you down with mounted MGs. It's not going to be a good day for you. Rainer, do you wish to take part?
Of the actual assault?
Yes. Do you want to be boots on the ground?
No, I'll watch.
You'll watch, right.
Question. Everything that's been talked about, and I will point out anything afterwards.
If I was you, I'd go into Zeus and make yourself a civilian then. Because otherwise you will die.
I will not be there. I will be hidden anyway. So
okay.
You don't need to make yourself a civilian. As long as you're hidden, they cannot see you. You cannot die.
Oh well, I've made myself a civilian, so.
Question. Do you want me to make you non-civilian?
No, I want to be there. I want them to see me.
Oh, you want to be in it? Okay.
I want to be in it without getting shot at. Yeah, what's your question, Jaden?
Suppress or no suppress?
Suppressors for everyone but you.
I can't have one. It'll fall off in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, AK, don't shoot. Just don't use one and don't shoot.
Yeah.
Suppressing on a machine gunner is pointless, in my opinion.
Question towards Taylor. When calling out a direction, my preference goes towards saying south, southeast, east, southeast, etc., not going by bearing numbers. But what is
So
the normality
never
in the unit?
ever say a bearing number, because if my man stood over here, so if I'm stood here and you're stood where you are, if I then call out, oh, there's a contact in that building there, to me that's bearing 300. What's it to you, that building?
Can I look right past it from here?
The building, probably 270.
Exactly, or a better example, that car.
Yeah,
that car to me
exactly,
is that car to me is 285.
I just hear a lot of people calling out bearings, and I'm like, oh, fuck the bearing.
Do not give a bearing.
I don't ever call out a bearing. I call out a cardinal direction.
The only time I call out a bearing is when it is for the AT, and we're trying to get a direct fix, a direct bead on a static target, usually like an a reinforced machine gun or something like that. Or when a vehicle has stopped, then I'll give a bearing.
Yeah. So
then they get that last few moments to quickly take an aim and shoot.
It's also when you are
Other than that,
and,
direction is more accurate.
So what I like to do is, instead of bearings, because obviously right now west is front, east is rear, right? I like to simply say the direction. So I might say contact front. Now 9 times out of 10, everyone's facing the same direction. So if I shout contact, if you're moving, you're facing the same direction. So if I call contact front, people know there's contact front. If I call contact left, people know there's contact left. If I call contact right, it's contact right, etc. You can also be more specific. So for example, right now, northwest is half right. southwest is half left, right? Because in my eyes, saying south, trying to work, because people might not know, like, right, over there is southwest, right? But some people aren't going to know that. They're not going to be able to quit. They might be like, oh, is that west, southwest, south, southwest? They're not going to know. So to me, I would just say quarter left, because half left is over there, quarter left is over there. That's just
regardless, just not bearings.
Yeah, that's my personal preference. So, as long as it's not a bearing, I don't care how you do it. Just don't fucking give a bearing. Anyway.
Bearings are for the air boys. We don't need them right now.
Just keep this idea in mind, guys. The further the group is apart, the less accurate you must give the direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So if we're close together like this, you can say, like, okay, if you like to say southwest, because we're all here, we all can look southwest and see the same thing. But if we're spread apart, 20 meters apart, right? You're gonna rather say, guys, mid southwest. Then we know. Sorry, not gonna say that. You're gonna say southwest. We're gonna look southwest. You're gonna narrow it down. You know what I mean?
I agree with Fidderman. So just quickly, I appreciate obviously your normal squad roles. However, just looking at the kits people have got, Burns squad lead, O'Keefe team lead, Jaden machine gunner with O'Keefe, Wu AT with O'Keefe, Chris Binneman with Burns. Binneman, your point man.
Woo, Jaden, turn red.
Copy.
We'll go green.
Jaden's not in the squad.
You should be.
It's not.
I'm going to Burns, bend over. Can I have it the other way, please?
Right. Yeah, who's not in the squad? Oh,
Much
Jaden.
better. Don't spin.
Touch me instead. Alright, you're on mine, or don't touch me.
No, don't worry. Anyone in the team, anyone in the teams, their penis he can touch.
Right, we're gonna man up in the truck. I'm gonna drop you your dismount point. Let's go. Because we're running out of time. I said 2 hours max, so that means we've got 10 minutes left.
Running.
Everyone, you might, if you repicked, you might want to check your radio channel.
Come on, guys.
Come check 112. Oh wait, this isn't right.
110.
110. Everyone's in.
Last man in.
Is everyone on 110 now then?
Yep. No, we didn't. We've been on 110.
That sounds weird. What do you like to do on the weekends?
Commit genocides.
Oh yes, casual racism. I love it.
Casual racism on the weekend.
Welcome to the internet, Ryan, and ask you to join us. You have to remember, in my first ever operation, I was describing the HVT as every Amazon delivery driver ever.
I remember.
There's a rock there. Right, this is good enough. Dismount.
Yes.
Dismount.
Jaden North.
East.
Southeast.
Alright, Burns, you know where the objective is, due north of our position.
Copy that.
Sorry, wrong, due west of our position. I'm fucking retard, can't read a map.
Spoken like a true officer.
Fuck you, okay. So yeah, I'm gonna let you guys do you, and I'll give you some feedback when it's done.
Copy that. Okay, if you want to take lead, you want me to.
So, whichever team, just quickly, whichever team has the point man should be taking point.
O'Keefe's squad's got the heavy weapons, I think he said.
Yeah, I did, sorry.
I mean, if you can set, I tried to do it, but I didn't know how to set up. So just you see the road, like the dirt track road, up and down that road would be ideal.
Wait, who are you talking to?
Do two.
Oh.
Do two,
Okay,
I'd say.
Right, green team on
Do
me.
like 2-man patrols just so they're not overkill.
What?
There's 2 points of defilade that we can utilize.
We're going there. Behind the rocks. Behind the rock wall. We're
Yeah, there's
going around
defilade
to our
behind that.
object. Hey?
There's defilade behind that.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, we're gonna stay out of view of the houses.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
yep.
Green team, we're stepping off.
Red, prepare to move.
Follow me in line.
Red, move. Jaden, take point of red.
Column, I mean.
Oh, I was just about to step.
My apologies.
Red, ready to move.
Chris, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm in spacing.
Copy that. We're stepping off.
Red stepping off.
Taking a sprint for the rocks.
Last man moving.
Green, we're gonna turn around the rocks.
Stamina gone.
Copy that. Taking a knee. Huddle for a close one.
We've been running 5 seconds here, stamina as well.
Yeah, but
Red team taking it.
I'm confident the stamina settings are fucked on this server because
Yeah, they're not great.
just that I'm gone. I'm completely can't move.
You're overloaded then.
How much
I'm
are
at
you?
30 kilos. My stamina was only half when you called.
33.
Actual, we're holding for a stamina break. One of my units are
I'm just going to
heavy.
abandon my pack again. But
Roger.
even like standing here, the bar is barely moving. It's not really going up or doing anything.
No, I see what you mean. It is going up very slowly. Recovery
Yeah,
is
but-
pathetic. Yeah.
It's fucking even when I first joined this unit, it wasn't this bad.
Yeah, and like I keep saying, this is the fallback server. The proper
Yeah.
training server is still being built. Right, you ready?
Oh, yeah.
As I'll get.
Okay, we won't go too fast.
Green is stepping off again.
Red, step off.
Alright, guys, need another stamina break.
Red stepping off.
The thing is, you know
Red
what's
hold.
weird?
I want to.
We're on.
What's weird?
The way we have to move is odd. Okay.
Green got a little confused. We're stepping off again.
Copy. Red stepping off.
Can,
Keep spacing 10 meters.
can red team maybe go different color, blue or something? Because enemies are also red.
The color of your fire team does not change the color on the map.
Enemies should not be appearing on your H tab anyway.
Eyes on 2 times contacts west
Green holding
along the
forward
road.
here. Green stepping off.
Yeah, 2 times infantry west, moving west up the road.
Technical on top of the hill.
Keep your heads low, lads. Let's practice a bit of bounding from rock to rock here. Green, fall in right. Chris, you take my position when you get here.
Cover me as I go.
Alright.
Burns, there's more defilade towards your southwest. If we can pull towards that, we might have a good advance.
Copy that. We'll pull to our left. Red team, you want to bound past us into that defilade?
Yeah, we'll do. Brett, move.
Copy that.
Copy. Red moving.
We'll hold position. Inaccurate fire received.
West on the left hand side of the road.
Tug it down.
Copy that. Red, keep moving.
Red in defilade.
Copy that. Get yourself into position to cover us.
Copy that, wait one.
Okay, if I'm gonna get in this house window.
Jed, and hold your fire until the last minute.
Eyes on 1 times armed, contact southwest, gun up.
Someone suppressed, take him out.
We got you covered.
Copy that. We'll move as soon as the fire's cleared. Green, let's step off.
Hey, you're... Lag? Is it me, or...? Well, that's a nice ending.
Connection lost.
I guess that concludes the training for tonight. Give it a few seconds, but I guess... Well, that was fun.
It's not just me.
No, it's over.